Hello there, guys. Well, finally, I said between 4 and 5, and I made it right between 4 and 5 instead of waiting until after 5, right? So I am here, lots more information. I can't believe that there is still so much information going on, which is great because, Michael's fans are regenerated, we're abundant, we're active, and those are all wonderful things. So I welcome you guys to today's live. Well, I'm going to start talking about 3 celebrities, okay? The first one is Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. And they have him videotaped going into a whorehouse, disguised as a massage parlor. And it's in a strip mall, and I think it was in Florida, maybe not. I think that's where it was at, in Miami. And this place, this whorehouse, is accused of sexual trafficking people from other countries for sex, to be sex slaves or get paid very little, and underage girls. Right? He sent out an apology today, because that happened a month ago. He sent out an apology today saying he behaved badly, he's sorry, he didn't mean to disrespect anyone, and he needs to hold himself to a higher standard, right? He gets invited to the White House. Not only that, but how come he's not asking to give back his Super Bowl trophies or to sell his team? Or any of the other properties that he has, and people aren't boycotting him. We have video footage of him, okay? Video footage. But with Michael, we have nothing but words coming out of people's mouths, and they're taking down statues of Michael. They're trying to mute his music. They've taken down The Simpsons. The Lakers stopped playing Michael's music. Starbucks stopped playing Michael's music on their Spotify playlist. And more has happened because of somebody's words out of their mouth when they're trying to sue for money. Is it racism, white privilege? And when black people talk about white privilege, and I believe more and more white people are like, yeah, I kind of get it. I didn't get it before, but I kind of understand now, right? Michael and R. Kelly are getting it. Kevin Spacey, we ain't heard nothing about his, and he's supposed to be a sick pervert, allegedly, okay? Underage boys. Harvey Weinstein, he's back somewhere. Lisa Bloom, who is Gloria Allred's daughter, whose law firm is walking distance from where I live, okay? She went on some talk show talking about if fans ever saw a videotape of Michael, they still wouldn't believe it. We seen a videotape of Robert Kraft, and I don't see a whole bunch of people saying, give back your Super Bowl rings, give back your Super Bowl trophies, because he owns the New England Patriots. And we got footage of him going into the place, an apology from him. We have nothing of the sort with Michael. If there was a videotape of Michael that wasn't faked and photoshopped and using an impersonator, yeah, we would believe it because it's right in our face. But we know that doesn't exist because Michael already sued for one back in the late 90s. He won a lawsuit of $2.7 million from the pervert Mambla member, Victor Gutierrez, who lied about everything and said Jordy Chandler had a diary of their sexual escapades, and there's so much with him. We're going to get to Victor Gutierrez a little bit later, okay? But nobody's saying anything about the New England Patriots, right? But let's mute Michael. Let's mute R. Kelly. R. Kelly trying to go to Dubai and earn some money because he can't afford his legal fees. Now, with R. Kelly, I don't understand why he wasn't arrested and charged with marrying an underage girl, statutory rape, when he married Aaliyah when she was 15. I still don't understand that. I haven't researched R. Kelly that much, but I still don't get it. And I hate to think that only because she's a little black girl, it didn't matter. What if R. Kelly married a little white girl, like Britney Spears when she was 15? Would that have, I bet that would have changed everything. So I'm not an R. Kelly supporter because I do believe that he has some issues, because there's supposed to be 3 videotapes of him. We got nothing of Michael. Nothing. Except for he had a 2-story bedroom and he had slumber parties with kids. And a lot of kids spent the night there and were spending the night in his room. And the bed was bigger than a California king bed, and kids just fell asleep while eating candy and popcorn and watching movies. Slumber parties. And it's as simple as that is. It's as simple as it is. And we have certain people who have decided to extort money from Michael because of that. Okay? We have a recording by Anthony Bellicano, who just got out of jail, who was a private investigator. He was in jail for like 15 years for wiretapping, racketeering, and all kinds of things. And he just got out. And then he was on Michael's side because he got Evan Chandler to admit that he was trying to extort money from Michael, that he'll make him pay and all this stuff, only because he wouldn't finance Evan Chandler's movie, Robin Hood Men in Tights. So and then we have copycats after that. We got Diane Diamonds, her influence with the Francias, paying them $20,000 to lie and then blackmailing Michael for more money at the tail end of the Evan Chandler situation. Also, I'm going to talk about Michael Jackson right after that in June. The settlement in the 93 case was January 94. That case that was paid by the insurance, where we have a signed affidavit from the lawyer who was Michael's family attorney at that time. During that time, Brian Oxman. We have a newspaper article, tabloid, that said Michael Jackson plans to fake his death, and I'll get into that. Now let's get into another celebrity, Barbra Streisand. Boy, I got to talk fast because I got a lot of things to say. Barbra Streisand. She talking about his sexual preference is his sexual preference. What, Barbara? Well, what? That's against the law, girl. What you talking about? And Barbara, I don't think she ever really liked Michael in the first place because he asked her to sing the duet, I Just Can't Stop Loving You, and she turned him down, and that's why Saida Garrett, and she did a beautiful job, sang that song with Michael Jackson on the Bad album. Right? So I'm not sure. I get albums mixed up. I get concerts mixed up. So you guys are so good. You guys will correct me if I make one little mistake. And I appreciate it. So if I make mistakes, look under my description on YouTube and I try to do corrections and I try to correct it. Okay, so we got Barbra Streisand. She never really liked Michael in the first place. Okay? She said, well, Wade and James grew up and had kids and got married, so what's the big deal? Well, Barbara, they're lying. They're lying, Barbara, because them being in love with Michael being in love with them being Pavlov's dog, conditioned to like homosexual sex. They grew up to be heterosexuals. Pavlov's dog is a psychology in which it's called stimulants response. So if you're used to being stimulated sexually and you've been conditioned to do that, quote unquote, hundreds of times, which Wade and James said, they never even saw Michael hundreds of times, but this is what they said, okay? Then you would be turned on that way, okay? But so Barbara, I get you when you're saying that they grew up and had kids, which is contradictory to hundreds of times. And not only sexually, but they were in love. In love with him, they said. It was loving, caring, caressing. It was generous. It missed me, okay? And none of the kids that Michael his friends, Brett Barnes, Aaron Carter, all of them, Macaulay, Calkin, as far as I know, none of them grew up to be gay. None of them. Okay, so there's stuff missing for me in that. Not to say everybody who's molested is gay. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I am saying that falls in a certain flow of it makes sense if they were. It kind of is confusing that they aren't. Okay? And if you're molested once or twice, of course you're not going to be gay. Once or twice, even 3 times you're not going to be. But hundreds of times, since the time you were 7, your first introduction to it, and when you were 10, your first introduction for years? I'm sorry, it's a disconnect for me there. And then also, I heard from this other woman who did something about body language, and she said in the 90s, there was the HIV scare. And there was a lot of, homosexuals were dying of HIV, and the blanket, oh my God, but blanket, I just cried. I was so hurt, and I watched the movie Philadelphia, and I was like, oh God, this is terrible, and this was a big deal in the 90s. So these kids don't remember that, but they were 10 to 14 years old. There's so much disconnect. They don't bring up the vitiligo, the spots on Michael's body, because they never saw him naked. There's just so many disconnects in here that just don't go with the flow of common sense with their allegations. Nobody tell me I'm making, if you're heterosexual or homosexual, you're allowed to be analyzed too. And this is what this is about. We're analyzing to see if Wade and James are telling the truth. We're conducting an investigation. We're thinking about things, okay? So it is a exercise where we're looking for the truth of the matter. And things that don't make sense, we're allowed to bring them up and talk about them. Okay, so we talked Barbra Streisand. So Barbra Streisand, I guess she got hit with a whole bunch of people with the Me Too movement. How dare you not believe them? How dare you not believe them? Wait. And call her like a pedophile protector because she said she didn't believe them, and she changed her tone and said now she believes them, and she apologized because she was bullied. Barbra Streisand was bullied. I believe she was bullied by people who want to believe that Michael is guilty, okay? Because and those people must not be able to lay next to kids or sit next to kids without being sexually aroused, in my opinion, because I could sleep with kids till doomsday, okay, and never have an inkling to have sex with them. Never, because kids don't represent sex to me at all, no matter what. And I believe that that's how Michael felt too. So it's easy for me to believe that even though they slept in his room, Michael slept on the floor, they slept on his bed, or they fell asleep at the foot of the bed or whatever, I believe that you can be around kids in that kind of intimate setting and not be sexually attracted to them, because I'm not. So I can understand it. Plus, there's so many disconnects there that don't make sense with Wade and James's story, especially when they testified under oath. This movie, Leaving Neverland, is not under oath. It's not under oath. Okay, their testimony in 2005 and their declaration in 93 and their deposition in 93, those were under oath. This movie is not. Okay, and then the stupidity, I just have to interject this too. Thank you, Miss Shalene, for bringing this up. There is Wade in the Leaving Neverland, the part, I guess, that wasn't cut out because it was shortened by 45 minutes. Wade is shown burning memorabilia when Julian's auction said they bought everything from him in 2011 that was worth any value. You're burning your molesters' things, but you got somebody with a camera photographing that? You got somebody with a camera photographing you burning your accuser's stuff. This is another disconnect. This is all sensationalism. It is an extortion attempt. It is a part of their legal strategy, okay, to try to bully. Oh my gosh. I got to tell you about Diana Ross, and then we got to get to AEG, okay? Oh no, I can't get to Diana Ross yet. I'm sorry, I can't. I have too many things to do before I get to her. Okay, let's get to AEG. AEG is now, the lawyers for AEG Live, Katherine Jackson, Paris Prince, and Blanket were named in the lawsuit, sued AEG Live for wrongful death of Michael Jackson. AEG won that lawsuit. Katherine Jackson lost that lawsuit. She had to pay their legal fees of $800,000. In that lawsuit, they had said that they refused to stipulate that Michael Jackson was dead for 7 days. And then on the 8th day, they said that they would stipulate that he was dead, which means you agree and I agree. So we don't need any proof. That's what stipulate in a legal definition means. So when they did stipulate it, they made sure that it was the name Michael Joseph Jackson. Michael's name is Michael Joe Jackson. So what does O'Melveny and Myers, who were the lawyers for AEG, who won, they know some stuff, because that was like a 5-month trial. I mean, that trial went on forever, right? And in that, AEG will never ever be held liable for Michael Jackson's death or his death hoax either. Okay, if you are listening to me for the first time, there's so much information that Michael faked his death. It's just incredible. Okay, so O'Melveny and Myers is now HBO's lawyers, right? So they know a whole bunch of stuff because they've already investigated, even though it's not the same attorney. But Petrocelli, he did Enron and some other people. Thank you, Peggy. And he did some other big cases. He did O.J. Simpson. He was involved with O.J. He was involved with Enron. He was involved with more stuff. He's big time. But it was Marvin Putnam who was the lead attorney for AEG with Catherine case. Okay. Anyway, they know a lot of stuff. And one of the things that they were going to bring up was the paternity of Paris, Prince, and Blanket. But the judge said, no, we're not going to talk about that right now, because let's see what happens at the end of the case. So I don't know what kind of dirty tricks they might have. Now, I learned something else. One of Oprah's attorneys works for the same law firm John Branca, the executive of the estate, works for. What? Okay, I think his name is Matt. I think his name is Matt Johnson. He's a light-skinned African-American guy. He also worked for Oprah at one time. And he works for Zifram Brittingham law firm. And John Branca is a partner in that law firm. So I wonder if John Branca's going, can you talk to your girl Ope and say, back off? You know what I mean? Because that's got to be a little uncomfortable when they pass each other in the hallway. Right? So it's a small world with these law firms, right? It's a small world. Because we already learned that a lot of these, like Quincy Jones's attorney was the same as the that sued Michael Jackson, was the first attorneys that Wade and James had. Okay, and I'm wondering why they changed attorneys. I never figured that out. Why Wade and James changed attorneys, right? So anyway, so we got a small world in the legal field. Now let's go to. I don't want to get too far ahead. I'm going to talk about, I have a certain thing saved for you guys. The third celebrity I'm going to talk about is Diana Ross, okay? But before I get to Diana Ross, she came out and she finally said something supportive of Michael Jackson. I'm going to play something from Brandy Jackson. And Brandy has done such a great job going out there because she is the quiet one. And I do not have her in my documentaries. I don't have deals in my documentaries, my live trilogy either. So they haven't really left death hoax clues. But Brandy said something that caught me and a lot of other fans' attention. And I'm going to play it right now, okay? I'm going to turn my camera around. All right. I'm going to play this.
And that's what I wanted to ask you, because a lot of what we see about Michael Jackson is from the outside looking in, like right. From TV, from media. You being in the family, what is Michael like? What is his characteristic? What is his personality like?
I'm going to start with saying what I said before. He's not like anybody you've ever met. I've never met another person that I could say, he reminds me of my Uncle Michael. This man is honestly, he's a special guy. And just how he was saying that he's very compassionate and he's never seen that level of compassion, that's who he is regularly. Okay. And he will surprise you with that every time you see him. It's something that's hard to digest because it's not common in this world. He's really just from a different planet, I have to be honest with you. And that's kind of why when people look at him, they view him as this like cartoon character, like he's Mickey Mouse or something, because it's not something you can relate to.
Well, I think it's because he...
Okay, so you guys, this is Power 106. No. This is Hollywood Unlocked. And she did this interview, I think, on the 18th or the 19th. Anyway, did you hear? He is. She was talking about him in the present tense. Well, she's not the only one who talks about Michael in the present tense, okay? Let's go to this, okay, because I'm going to pull up some historic things. Okay, here's Barry Gibb. Barry Gibb did the song, which is a huge death hoax clue, All in the Name, All in the Game. And this song was released by Barry Gibb June 25th, 2011 on the 2nd anniversary of the death announcement. And we know all death documents are in the wrong name. Well, anyway, he says, this is Barry Gibb, he says, Michael and I both love it. That's in the present tense. So you guys watch the Alive trilogy, you'll learn about that. Here's a statement from Prince Jackson, okay? Prince, he's saying, he said, there are too many words to describe the man you are. Talking about Michael. Thank you for the man you are. Okay, that's R. That's present tense as well. He did it again. Prince did it again. This was his birthday, Michael's birthday in 2016, I believe, and he wrote like a little, like it's not really a rhyming poem, but kind of an ode to him. A kind of, it's poetic though, and he says the myth, the legend, the man, Michael Jackson Jr. So Prince is the one who wrote this, and many of you guys don't know Prince's name is not Prince. BG Blanket's name is Prince. Legal name. But anyway, he said, to many, he is the king, the man as he is the myth. He cares for his mother and his children. He is a lamb. He is pure. He is the archangel. He is with us, and our tears we stifle. So again, talking about Michael in the present tense. Now, there's so much more. I mean, there's so much more that proves that Michael Jackson faked his death, and he is here on earth watching and interacting. You got to watch my Live trilogy. But the reason why I brought that up is because it was kind of the timing of Brandy saying that a few days ago, and then Diana Ross this morning making a statement. She says, and Taj Jackson, he went ahead and he retweeted Diana Ross's statement, and she says, this is what on my heart this morning. I believe and trust that Michael Jackson was and is a magnificent, incredible force to me and to many others. Stop in the name of love, right? So she's saying was and is, and then the capital A right there, a magnificent, incredible force. So at first I wasn't going to bring up Brandy, but then after I saw the was and is, and also there's other present tense ones, but this is just a few of the present tense statements that were made. Anybody who says just because he said, just because, and maybe they meant this and maybe they meant that, okay, of course it's a maybe, but we're talking about gathering up evidence, gathering up a whole lot of stuff to prove that Michael Jackson is alive. And what proves that Michael Jackson is alive is really just that, is that there's nothing that proves that he's dead. There's something wrong at every single solitary level. No name mentioned in 911 call. The coroner lied about how he named and identified the body. He was admitted into UCLA under the name of Soleil Sean and Trauma Gershwin. The coroner lied about how he named and identified the dead body, which was through a non-existent driver's license using the wrong name. Forest Lawn has told me and many other fans we don't have Michael's body. We've never had Michael's body. There's no name on the grave. Michael is not listed in the database. The Conrad Murray trial, the verdict says alleged victim, alleged date. The LA District Attorney, I wrote to them, who wrote those words, alleged victim and alleged date in the Conrad Murray verdict, which means that they don't know who the body is or when the body died. They refused to answer me in writing, saying they refused to even confirm that that dead body is Michael. So those are the real, true, hardcore facts, and I show you proof in the Live trilogy, but this is just something else that just happened, so that's why I'm bringing this up. Okay, people say, well, why would Michael Jackson fake his death? Okay, this is something that was in World Weekly News, which is also on the Michael album, okay, because the Michael album has so many clues in it, so you have to watch it. You have to watch my Live trilogy to see all the clues that are in the Michael album that was released on my mother's birthday, which was December 10th, 2010. Okay, but anyway, this was World Weekly News, and Michael has that on his Michael album. And this was dated March 29th, 1994. This is 2 months after the settlement, after the insurance paid the Chandlers their money. Okay, and it says Michael Jackson plans to fake his own death. This was in the hard copy of their magazine because back then, 94, there wasn't the internet. This was a hard copy of this article. And this article, June 29th, 1994, it was reposted 5 days before the death announcement. They reposted it 5 days before Michael Jackson was announced dead on June 20th, 2009. That Michael Jackson plans to fake his own death. So Michael, anybody who wants to know why Michael would plan to fake his own death, well, that is because of allegations like this. And when Michael Jackson almost lost his life, almost lost his freedom in the 2005 trial, I think he was a man on a mission, okay, because he tried to fake his death during Invincible, but I'm telling too much. Watch the Alive trilogy. It's all spelled out with proof, evidence, and everything I tell you, I show you. Now, you want to say, well, how do we know Michael's mind was into faking his death back in the day? Well, we know he was into zombies and werewolves and ghosts and all those forms of the living dead, plus Michael's music and his clothing and all kinds of things tell us this, okay? But the winner in the tabloid fiction writing contest, this is from Catherine's book, My Family, published in 1988. She writes about, but the winner in the tabloid fiction writing contest was the article headlined, "Hundreds of fans are asking, is Michael Jackson dead?" The author of this article put one and one together, the change in Michael's physical appearance over the years, plus his change in image, and got 6. I can only shake my head and laugh at the tabloid's shameless attempts to sell papers. Okay, so these allegations that he's suffering from right now is the reason why he felt like he needed to fake his death and why he was a man on a mission to accomplish that. Do all family members know this? I'm gonna turn my camera around. Do all family members know? No, I don't think they all do. Okay, because Deals was, and I like Deals, trust me, Deals is hard. He you know, he's very passionate. And when I went to Joe Jackson's memorial, Deals did speak, and I liked what he said because he was talking about his grandfather, how they just don't make him like they make Joe Jackson anymore, who was a man who took care of his kids, who made their kids' dreams come true. Yeah, he was hard, he was firm, but it also at the end, it was all about love because those kids are generous, they give a lot of money, they're charitable, they're mannerable, they're polite, they're courteous, they're hard workers, they're ambitious. Yeah, maybe they got their butts whipped, but you know what? I got my butt whipped too. And you know what? One of the Bush daughters, she said they got their butts whipped too. And we're talking about we're talking about the Bush family with 2 presidents, the daddy and the son president. She said they got their butts whipped too. Okay? So we need to give Joe Jackson a little bit of a break because without him doing exactly what he did, we wouldn't have had 50 years of entertainment from the Jacksons. And I'm going to tell you, from my perspective, I don't know what life would be like without growing up and having the Jackson 5, the Jacksons, Michael, Janet, all of them as a part of my life and a part of my world. Anyway, back to Deals. So Deals said in an interview that he did with Power 106, I think he did it yesterday or the day before, and he said that when they did Thriller, when Thriller came out, that Michael kept it a secret. Michael didn't tell anybody about Thriller. So Michael does not tell the family every single thing that's going on because he doesn't know who has loose lips. Sink ships. And Joe was one to tell them boys, you don't talk. When we go to this meeting, you shut up and you let me do the talking. And Joe meant that because he knew what it took to get the deal that he needed to get for his sons to make their dreams come true. And that family's dreams did come true, and Joe Jackson was successful. Probably the most successful parent in the history of entertainment because of his children's success to this day. Anyway, I like Deals though, okay? And Deals spoke and it touched my heart, and Marlon spoke and it touched my heart, and Yoshi and JoJo came up and spoke. She came up, he was so cute. She came up, she said, I met my grandfather. She started crying. Oh man, I kind of got a little misty with her when she came up and said all that stuff. And other people spoke. Giovanni, you know, Joe's daughter by another mother, she came up and spoke, and it was incredible. Everybody was there. The whole family was there except for Paris and Jermaine. But the rest of them were there. All of them, you know, were there. And so was I. And it was a privilege that I was among the family like that. But anyway, so let's talk about Paris, though, okay? I'm going to turn my camera around. Okay, let's talk about Paris. Now, everybody knows that butterflies are a part of one of the symbolisms to Michael Jackson's death hoax. It's on the Invincible album, and the Invincible album looked like a ghost, and Michael was planning to fake his death during that time, but 9/11, Twin Towers got hit. Watch the Alive trilogy. I promise you, you will be blown away. Anyway, so Paris, just a few days ago, she again wearing butterflies, because I had just mentioned the story about butterflies, how she was with Catherine wearing a butterfly. Catherine was wearing a butterfly necklace. So that's Paris. Those pants are nice, though. Look at those beautiful butterflies. And then, guys, here are my butterflies. Okay, here are the butterflies that I give away. I got one huge one, and it has 4 wings on it, and so they come in all sizes and shapes and stuff, and I give them away while supplies last when you order the Alive trilogy. But anyway, see, that's Paris, okay? So in case you missed those butterflies on Paris's thing, because it's a wink, wink, nod, nod, she is with butterflies again. Look, this is because I think it was Kathy Hilton's birthday party, and I know this is Paris Hilton. I think that's the sister. I don't know who that is. It's probably a friend. And but they have butterflies. Okay, so Paris, thank you for the butterflies. And people say, oh, she might just like butterflies. She probably does. But we take them as a death hoax clue, because Paris has been around the death hoax for years. Like, people always say to me, you're hurting the family. You know, no, they participate, okay, with this, especially Paris. She has been, you know, she's been probably the most active. Okay, so that's one thing. So now let's get down to the liars. Let's get to the liars. Now, Joy is Wade Robson's mother. Chantel is Wade Robson's sister. And Dennis Robson, he committed suicide in 2002. Joy had put in the deposition that it was his suggestion that they come to LA that first time that they came out here, I think around 1990. But anyway, here we go. Why are they liking a post that wishes Michael Jackson happy birthday, August 29, 2013? Why do they belong to Facebook groups that support Michael? This is just months after Wade filed the lawsuit in May 2013. So happy birthday, Michael, and is liked by Joy Robson? What the heck? Okay, back to things that don't go in the proper flow of things that are outliers that just don't fit. Here we go again. 2 years later, March 18, 2015, same website. Joy liked it. And it's a picture of little Michael. What? And you just become baffled, because here your son is saying he was molested by Michael hundreds of times. And then sometimes I just can't find the words, because it is just so ridiculous. And it's and the estate put out a, I'm going to turn my camera back around later. The estate put out a 24-point PowerPoint presentation to HBO. And but we don't have it. I wish they release it. But it's all the inconsistencies, it's all the lies, it's all the contradictions, proving that Wade and James are liars. And Wade and James are liars. No matter what you believe today, they have lied at one point. And then people want to say, well, it follows the pattern of child sex offenders, because you can make anything psychologically say anything, and they can read books on the behavior of child sexual victims as well. And we know that their law firm won the largest sexual abuse case in the history of Los Angeles Unified School District for $140 million. So they know how to set things up and make them sound like they're victims when there's zero proof that they are. Okay, zero proof that they are. So that's another one of their fantastical lies. I'm going to get to more of their fantastical lies. Here's another one with Dan Greed. I call him Dan Greed. Isn't that funny how it works? rob, because they're trying to rob Michael's estate son, and they trying to get a safe Chuck, okay, and Dan Reed, but Dan Greed. Isn't that funny how that works out? Well, anyway, here's some more of how they stole these ideas from Victor Gutierrez and how they implemented their stories to fit a child pornographic book that Mambala member Victor Gutierrez, who is a liar. Okay, and the courts have found him liable for lying and defaming Michael Jackson. Okay, here are two more. Okay, I thank you guys for doing this. Okay, Dan Reed's interview with Hit.com. It says the intense period of Wade, it's terrible to say it, but sexual relationship with Michael Jackson was from the age of 7 to the age of 9. I thought it was 9 to 14. Okay, that was if you like to begin to use it, the dreadful word honeymoon. That is if you like to begin to use it, the dreadful word honeymoon period, the period when they were really seeing each other a lot. Victor Gutierrez's book. Meanwhile, Jackson and Jordy told June was the mother, Jordy's mother, and who Michael had a crush on, okay, that they both were able to go since they both had a cold and they stayed in the hotel room. According to Jordy, this was an excuse that they had agreed upon so they could have a complete privacy and freedom. It was fun. It felt like I felt very special waiting for the moment of the honeymoon, as we call it, when we could be alone. This is a teenage kid. This is from Victor Gutierrez, a sick guy, okay, who is in love with little boys and who has a thing for little boys. How he's going to say that a little boy couldn't wait till they had fun. These were words where James Safechuck had said when him and Michael videotaped them having sex, that it was fun. And then Michael said, oh, it's not fun. Let me erase it. Let me record over it. Record over it with what? Of course, there was never a videotape. A videotape also comes from Victor Gutierrez's sick book, where Michael sued him and said, bring the videotape, okay? Anyway, there was never a videotape. Dan Reed's interview with Rolling Stone, Dan Greed. Okay, Michael was Wade's lover and his close friend to whom he owed a great deal in terms of his career and his life. And that's why Wade says, I didn't consider this to be abuse. I loved Michael, and Michael loved me. So for them, this was a normal and healthy thing. Okay, trying to normalize statutory rape. Trying to normalize man-boy sex. Victor Gutierrez's book. Michael Jackson is a pedophile, which in the eyes of society makes him a criminal. Not so for the young sexual companions of the singer, for whom sex with Jackson was, in their words, healthy and normal. For me, it was confusing, not knowing whether to refer to the boys as victims or ex-lovers. We have audio where in Leaving Neverland, where Wade is telling his story, and he said, Michael was my best friend, and you hear Dan Greed in the back saying, lover. They're making this up. This is a child pornographic film. It's child pornography. It's trying to normalize it and not make it sound sick by saying they loved Michael. It was soft. It was gentle. You know, and James is crazy. James said Michael bought Neverland for him. Michael had wanted Neverland when he was filming the video "The Girl Is Mine" with Paul McCartney. I believe that that's what that was. If you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I know Michael was doing a video, and he was doing the video on that land where Neverland was, and that was before he met before he met Wade Robson. Okay, so this whole thing with the ring and marriage and wanted to buy him Neverland and all this stuff, it's a fantasy. Something's wrong with these people. They're sick, and they should go to jail for it. A lot of fans, when I said they needed to apologize, fans were like, no, throw them in jail, and I agree. Okay, because it's just way over the top. It's way over the top, and the lies are so abundant, and the comparisons are so abundant with Victor Gutierrez's sick book, and and Diane Diamond, her trusted source was this fool, Victor Gutierrez. And poor Michael, he's been messed with something terribly, terribly, terribly bad. And that's why Michael wanted to fake his death and disappear. But he's an entertainer. And he kind of felt bad fooling his fans. So he's been living clues that, no, I'm really here. I'm really not dead. And they need to stop trying to work with that you can't defame the dead. Because a lot of people are going to owe a lot of money for defaming Michael Jackson. Okay? And slander and libel. Okay, let's see if I have more, or if I was good enough that I went through a lot of my notes. Of course I have more. I'm going to turn it around. This is the part of Joy Robson's testimony that I talked about. Oh man, I turned it around too many times. There we go. Testify. She says here, it was actually Dennis's, that's her husband's, idea when we were here in the January and we were at Disneyland. It was his idea. Let me go back. Let's see. It was November 1990 that the Robsons came out here. Yes. Okay. But it would be sometime before. Yes. Here we go. Let's go to the very top. Do you remember when you first consulted a lawyer about my immigrating to the United States? No, I don't. But it would have been sometime before. Yes, November 1990. Yes. When did you first begin thinking about moving to the U.S.? It was actually Dennis's idea when we were here in January and we were at Disneyland. It was his idea. Do you remember what he said? No, he just got a little carried away with the hype that was going on. So Dennis, do you remember? Dennis, do you remember if it was his idea during the first part of the trip when you were performing at Disneyland, or not you, but your children performing at Disneyland? No, I don't remember. I just remember saying it. Okay, so she is saying that it was her husband's idea for them to come to Los Angeles. But according to Leaving Neverland and some words that that Wade Robson said, they had left the father, they had abandoned the father, and everything was Michael's fault. The reason why the father committed suicide and all this other stuff. The father was bipolar. He was really unhappy because the family was out here and only his young son was here, and his wife and his two younger kids were here pursuing a career. But when Dennis came out here the last time Wade saw him, and this is in Leaving Neverland, Wade said he was mean to him, because the father did not fit up, I guess, to the Hollywood image, and he was embarrassed of him. And he didn't, and when Michael cried, Wade was sadder when Michael cried than when his own father died. So, none of it makes sense. Okay? But it was not Michael's fault. They want to blame everything on Michael. Now, I talked about the burning of the images, and this is a part of, here's a quote. Those images of me burning things are from very early on in my healing process, within the first 2 or 3 months. I'm not saying that to discredit the validity of that now, but it just paints a picture as to how many different stages there are in the process, Wade explained. Okay, so that was the beginning of the process. So what was that, 2011, 2012, 2013? When was that? But why did you record it? That's what I don't get. Why are you recording such a personal thing? You know, that this is all just so much BS. It is just so much. Oh gosh, you know, I get so tired of this. Okay, David from Germany, he sent me something, and it's about Oprah Winfrey. Like, some of the fans are playing the Michael Oprah interview, and they're getting copyright strikes. Okay, from so Oprah, I guess she just doesn't want anybody to make money off of that interview, or it's hers, she owns it, or I don't know, but she's copyright striking people. Okay, and let's see if I'm going through all my notes. Oh, this is something so sweet. Okay, here's a very, very sweet story. And I told Troy Hercules that I would share it. And he bought the Alive trilogy. He says, "Hello, Pearl. My name is Joy Hercules. I commented on a YouTube video about not being able to buy the trilogy on Amazon, but he bought it through PayPal because you buy it through PayPal, you pay less for shipping than Amazon. I'm a big fan and support internationally only. I'm a big fan and supporter of MJ, and I always listen to his music. In fact, I'm getting married on the 4th of May, which is Catherine and Reeby's birthday. No, Catherine and Jackie's birthday. LaToya and Reeby have the same birthday, which is May 29th. So, the phone getting whatever. May 4th is Jackie and Catherine's birthday. So he said he's getting married on May 4th, the 4th of May, and my first dance will be to The Lady in My Life. Isn't that wonderful? He is like, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I'm not a Fairweather fan. I'm a fan through and through. And he's getting married and he's dancing to The Lady in My Life, which is from the Thriller album, which is one of my favorite Michael songs. He says, it saddens me to see all the negativity and hate he's receiving after this stupid, slanderous mockumentary. And I hope that Taj can make a successful documentary to counter this terrible one. Keep up the good work on your videos and look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks, Troy. I thought I wanted to share that because I think that is oops, I'm sorry. I meant to turn it around and put my phone in front of the camera because I just got an alert that it's getting hot, right? So we don't want it turned off. So I thought that was sweet that he is getting married to the lady of my life. And yes, if you're an international fan and you want to buy the Alive trilogy, Amazon sometimes doesn't let international fans buy it, but sometimes they do. But you can always buy it directly from me from PayPal.com, and just send me an email or a message and I'll tell you how. And I save you a lot of money on shipping. So anyway, so I love that he's getting married. So congratulations to Troy and his wife. And you got to post you guys' first dance with Lady of My Life on YouTube and send it to me and I'll share it with the fans, and hopefully Michael will see it and he'll be really happy about it too. All right, so we are going through my notes, which I think I'm doing pretty good. Dan Greed, talking again. He's talking about the police officers believe that Michael was guilty. Yeah, the ones that lost the case in 2005. But they lost. Okay, they lost. And they're sore losers. They lost big time on a world stage, 14 out of 14 counts. Lost. All right. Wade said in 2000 deposition that mom never asked if anything happened in bed, but in Neverland, he said she did ask. That's another contradiction. Okay? That in 2005 deposition, he said his mother never asked if he had been molested by Michael. And in Leaving Neverland, he said she did ask. Okay? It just... Okay. France right now. It flopped in France. Leaving Neverland did not get good ratings. They hoped for almost 3 times as many ratings as they got. So we're glad that our protest is working, and fans from all over the world are protesting. I'm glad. I'm happy, because this is a travesty of justice, and we got to do the best we can because we don't have big megaphones like mainstream media does. And hopefully we'll keep shouting and we'll keep spreading and we'll keep circulating. And sometimes we got to go out of our comfort zones, which we're warm and cuddly in our Michael fan club, but sometimes we got to go outside of the fan base in order to reach the people that don't have any idea, okay, of the truth of the matter. And if you don't believe accusers, you're not a bad person, because these accusers don't deserve to be believed, because they said things for 20 years under oath that Michael never molested them. So the scrutiny that they get, they deserve. They deserve it. Okay? I'm not going to believe anything. I'm not going to believe anything anymore unless there's proof. There's this one woman talking for over an hour, and people keep sending it to me, but there's no proof of what she says, so I don't want to waste my time listening to it. Because if you don't have any proof of your words, I provide proof. I provide proof. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I really want to see that 24-point PowerPoint that the estate did. I told you Anthony Pelicano's out of jail. Ooh. Yeah, and then there's some contradictions with that, which is how he's gonna say something different, that Michael was guilty, but he was hired by Michael. He's the one that released the tape saying Evan Chandler was extorting and blackmailing Michael. Okay, not blackmailing, because he didn't have nothing. He was just extorting. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm pretty good. Oh, the butterflies. You know what the butterflies go back to as well? Not only the song Butterflies on the Invincible album, and it means new beginning, and Janet Jackson, she named her residency in Las Vegas Metamorphosis. And what do caterpillars? They metamorphosize into butterflies. And also in This Is It, remember Heal the World? The little girl with the butterfly? Oh, a fan sent me that. I can't remember you guys' names. You feel free to say, I sent you this. But sometimes when a fan sends it to me, I don't know if it's their clue or if they're circulating somebody else's clue. So I don't know where it derived from. Okay. But yeah, remember the little girl with the butterfly, the Heal the World little girl? Yeah, okay. And you got to see Thriller. This Is It has a lot of Death Hoax clues too, like Gilda, where Michael plays the character of someone who fakes their death in the Gilda movie for Smooth Criminal. There's just so much, guys. There's so much. Okay, there's so much. So anyway, so I think I went through everything for now, and I thank everybody who joined me for this live broadcast of all the BS and everything else. So I want everybody to get their copy of the Alive trilogy of Michael Jackson documentaries. It's available on Amazon.com. See it. Okay, 254 minutes, jam-packed with proof, evidence, and clues. The King of Pop is not dead. Okay, and who he is today. Okay, guys, I think I'm kind of dressed up. And I know where to go, so I think I'll just go to the movies and go to the grocery store. Cecil's working. He's always working. I'm here by myself, except for with you fans, and I just love you guys, and thank everyone for sending me so many videos, so many links, so many clues, so much information, so that I can deliver it to you guys. Okay, make sure you subscribe, and you like, and you share. Okay, and I will see you guys next time.